something that we might dip our toes back into the Vaush community for something of value. So Vaush likes to retread a lot of my old content because he is dumb and he doesn't know what else to do. But something that's really interesting is I think that they are doing they're having their like 2011 anti-religion arc. And I don't know who he's debated, but it sounds like the debates have been really brutal. It might be really interesting to go over some of those debates and then see how you can reconcile, like, if you've got a religious person, what are some good challenges that you can bring to them, but in ways that are respectful and in ways that can, like, acknowledge, like, some shared common grounding. I haven't watched any of the debates so far, to be fair, but from the sounds of his community, it sounds like he's just going on, like, a hardcore, like, rage against the fucking dying of the light, shitting ruthlessly on all religious people, hardcore anti-theist. But the interesting thing is, like, apparently it got so bad, White Nervosa, who's the person who, like, she's the one that spun off my site and maintains all of the sites for everybody, apparently it was so bad, she's, like, resigning from the community, or at least taking a break, because the people there were so anti-religious. I guess she thinks she was being, like, harassed about being religious. But now I'm kind of curious what this debate looked like, or how edgy Vaush was being. It might be worth revisiting. Maybe. I don't know if I want to give him the exposure, though. I'll think about it. Vaush fucks up the analogy during religion debate. Wait, what? Hold on.
If it's bad.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's a position that you're coming from admittedly ignorance at that point.
No, it's like I'm against being stabbed, but I'm not familiar with every type of knife ever made.
Yeah, and I think that's disanalogous, because we've been talking about, like, there are productive usages of knives and there are toxic usages of knives, among them stabbing. Okay, and religion is going to be one tool that people use in order to explore the world in themselves, and there are toxic ways of using it. I think that if you're going to build the analogy, it should not be with the action, but with the tool.
I agree that the analogy is not completely analogous, but I stand by the sentiment of the analogy, which is that I feel though my lack of education on the specifics of religion is not related to my broader philosophical issues against it. There's nothing I could learn about religion that would change my mind on this. It's disconnected from that.
Wait, what? You can't say that. Wait, what do you mean? Wow, thanks, Andreas.
It's a completely separate issue. I just dislike superstition, or whatever you want, religious thinking, unjustified metaphysical.
Hold on. Destiny, cost is high and competition low because of startup.
First time watching stream. Two topics I've never heard your take on. Homelessness and the education system. Not free college BS.
Well, we shouldn't have homeless people in the United States, and nobody should be refused to go to college because they don't have the money for it, so.
Presuppositions, anything like anything like that. But that's the realm of philosophy. Religion is just one way in which people do that.
I think you dismissed philosophy like way too quickly. And I think because philosophy is how you combat these problems. And this is what I've been arguing for since the beginning of this conversation, that if you're going to, ethics is a subset of philosophy as well. So is religion, so is science, and so on. Philosophy is a grand, ever-touching thing. I saw a funny meme with it was like a woman walking like 30 dogs, and the woman was philosophy, and then all the dogs were like biologies.
I agree. I have a great respect for philosophy. I'm not one of those like scientists.
I feel like when you say that's philosophy, though, it's the sign that you're starting to dismiss it and then move on into another part of the narrative.
I mean, my beliefs are rooted in philosophy.
Doing.
They're rooted in an anti-metaphysical position.
What does that mean? Oh, he's using metaphysical to mean supernatural. But saying supernatural makes you sound dumb, so you say metaphysical. Okay. Because you can't be like anti-metaphysics, right? It's like...
Right, but it's not about the specifics of religion. Like, any specific I could learn about religion wouldn't... Even if all throughout human history, religion had done nothing but good for the world, I would still hold this position. Though, admittedly, that would be a very different
that would be
world.
Anti-empirical.
Well, no, it wouldn't. No. Okay, wait.
Yes,
okay.
It would.
No, it wouldn't. No, you still don't understand.
There's no examples of this whatsoever, but I'm still going to be holding myself against it.
We're talking about it's process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. Okay.
Right, but that's not empiricism. When I say that it's anti-empirical at that point, it's like there are no examples of this, but I'm still going to hold that it's bad without examples. That is anti-empirical.
Well, no,
that's what I'm saying.
Philosophical, which is my concern. It's philosophical. The empirics support me in the real world because religious groups tend to do bad things, but it doesn't have to. It's like this. Would you rather like a person be your friend because they got a vision from God saying that you should spend time together, or a person be your friend because they enjoy spending time with you?
Honestly, I think the former is a little creepy sometimes.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I actually hold in very low regard people who have religious justifications for not doing bad things. Now, Christians do this the most.
Bro, this is like some 2010 R atheism shit. Jesus. Okay, I'm good on this.
They're just hateful. And by Instagram allowing the hate mob to be successful, it inspires further hate mobs.
I do think something that's interesting to me, and I've kind of talked about this in the past, is like I think on the left, we have to do better at like building up things and not just fucking minority and LGBT causes, because it seems to be the only thing that people on the left sometimes are interested in, rather than it coming off as like just like a perpetual like rage machine. I think that's a really bad area to be stuck in. I've said this before, and I will stand by this. Like, it's kind of it's crazy to me that Keffals is probably one of the largest online bullies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, she's just an evil person, and she just bullies people. The obsession with harassing people on social media, the obsession with getting her whole audience together to harass people, doing it after they've been blocked, like bullying people. But it's okay because of like her ideological disposition. That's a little bit wild to me. And when you see stuff like that, it's impossible to defend. Like, Keffals, any other person like that who just isn't part of that ideological group is like, would just be conceived, would they just be seen as a huge internet bully? That would be it. Like, end of discussion. But yeah, if you have the right target, bullying becomes righteous, which is not good.
I was effectively swatted. I think this happens to all famous people on the internet, where the police is called, happens especially in America. They call the police and say, somebody has got a gun at this address and he's threatening to kill somebody. And the SWAT turn up and it turns out it's fake. The police responded, as they should. I would hate to live in a country where the police get a call that a woman's being held kidnapped. They did a forensic search, as they should. At 8 p.m., the search concluded. They took me from...
This is gonna sound spiteful as fuck. I don't mean to come off that way, but I don't bear any ill will for like the FBI coming to my house because of all the crazy complaints they've gotten about me. Like, when they show up, like, I understand you're just doing your job. You kind of have to. Like, if you're getting reports that I'm saying you should like kill conservatives, or I've got child porn, or I'm trying to what was the third one? I don't even remember what all 3 visits were for. But if you're getting complaints like that from people on the internet, you kind of have an obligation to follow up. Like, I understand that. Even if I know they're obviously trolls, and even if I know it's obviously bullshit, you don't know that. And so I'm sympathetic towards your need to investigate. That's fine. But the I find it a tad unreasonable when people like Keffals or people on her side of the internet were like, they should have known this was a prank. They should have never showed up. They blah, blah, blah. This is horrible. It's like, come on, bruh. Like they're getting emails from somebody saying they're about to show up and assassinate politicians. It's not wholly unreasonable for the police to show up and investigate. That's not the craziest thing in the world, especially if it sounds like you already had a rap sheet. So you already were in the system, already done some illegal shit in the past. I don't think it's the worst thing for them to show up and investigate. I don't think that's like completely or wholly unreasonable. But it seems like a lot of people have a hard time understanding that sometimes, which is a little disappointing. But I understand it's just like a lot of police hate and everything too. If you believe her initial story about the police busting in and arresting her, that seems pretty unreasonable. Yeah, sure, but her initial story was completely and totally fabricated. It was 100% a lie. I don't know if you can be criminally charged for it. There's probably not a charge for it, but she'll never be held accountable for that. But she should be. Her initial lies about what happened were very, very, very disgusting.
This happened to a normal person.
Wait, did you see her latest video? The lawsuit isn't happening anymore. Yeah, didn't she say she was? Didn't she say she was moving to Europe? She had police show up to her house. The next day, she's home. Or did they release her that night? She got all of her shit back the next day. She lied about the whole situation. Then she fundraised $100,000 off of it, and I think she's moving to France. What an unbelievable set of circumstances. But that last comment that I just made about her, she's not going forward with the lawsuit, that was just from somebody in chat. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that isn't going to happen, but